Hello, hello, everyone. Looks like we might be having a little bit of technical difficulties, but just hang tight because we're going to get Steph back in here in just a moment. Typically, I'm the one with the issues when it comes to technology, but we're going to be adding her back in here soon. So, in the meanwhile, for those of you who are new here, this is Biscuit and Gravy in the Morning. And myself, registered dietitian Brianna Butler, and my sister Steph, who's our foodie, resident foodie, and obviously a co-owner of Power Portions. So there she is. She's back.
I'm here. I don't know what happened.
Hey,
Good old
no
technology.
tea. I was
You
just telling
know,
the people about who we were. I didn't let them know what we were talking about
you got
today,
to
but
start it.
just giving them a little introduction to who we are, biscuit and gravy in the
I
morning,
appreciate you.
So I just figured I would just, get us
Yeah,
started.
yeah, that's great. Okay, so we let's go ahead and start. I mean, this is our first talk with our performance crew on
Mhm.
mindfulness, I think, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So that is our topic for this month, and we are super excited about that one. It's something that is kind of near and dear to our hearts and something we implement literally in our everyday lives and kind of a part of how we do business, and that's kind
Mhm.
of in our business plan of being mindful about everything that we do. So being able to implement that into sport performance is amazing, and I'm really kind of ready to jump into this because we have some great tips this show.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm excited as well because I think it's so easy to think that mindful eating and performance might not mesh really well, but it actually can. Like, there's so many benefits, and just like you mentioned, we'll go over a lot of that today and just kind of drop some gems that you might not be aware of when it comes to mindful eating techniques and performance and how they can really impact you, whether directly or indirectly. So, let's get it.
All right, so like we said in this series, we are going to break down mindful eating, why we need it in our lives, and the best ways to incorporate it to take command of your eating habits. Should we all say hi to Brayden? I know I'm not the only one that
Oh, you guys.
everybody, yeah, hey Brayden.
Y'all, it's been a morning. Let me just be transparent. Like, Bryce got home after a 5-hour delay last night. He didn't even get home last night. It was early this morning, like 5 a.m. The kids woke up at 6. Liana's not sleeping. And right now my toddler is bouncing off the walls. But that's
Oh my
okay because
gosh.
here we are. It's his
Yeah,
life.
I mean, that's all that matters, right?
Yeah.
And we're here. We're here. Okay, so let's ask the first question because you guys know we try to do some Q&As before, and let's see. I don't think I see anybody in the comments just yet, but we'll get there. Okay, as an athlete, what was your go-to relaxation method? This is a good question.
I think I'll start with this one because when I saw this just like on our sheet, I was literally thinking back to my playing days. And I think for me, I enjoyed a couple of things. One, music was like
Mm-hmm.
really, really important, I think, in just getting myself mentally prepared for a game, but nothing crazy. It was almost just
Yeah.
like wanting that calmness, that chill, like relaxation stuff. And then I think just being in my routine helped me relax as well. You know how,
Yeah.
like, you kind of have that set routine as an athlete, and so for me, it was like, do shoot around, and then afterwards, get a nice breakfast, take a
Mm-hmm.
nap, wake up, eat again, get myself ready, with the music playing. So staying in routine, I think,
Yeah.
really helped me relax and be mentally prepared for whatever I was about to do.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, I think we just grew up on music, so that was always relaxing. I always played R&B, which a
Mhm.
lot of people didn't know that I love my upbeat, up tempo pop, hip hop, ratchet music. But before games, I'm actually really, really chill. And then like I would say maybe like not day of, but always going to get a pedicure and a manicure.
Mm,
That was always like extremely big. I think what every 2 weeks
yeah,
we would go, and that was just so relaxing to just like, okay, let somebody like take care of you for just like
yeah.
an hour.
Mhm.
Um, and that was so relaxing. And obviously, and this is still my go-to method of relaxation is just a nap, just
Yeah.
peace and quiet. Just let me take a nap for a second. That is like my ultimate. I need it, gotta have it. Like it's a
Yeah,
non-negotiable. And I have,
yeah.
you guys know I have a lot of non-negotiables. That's one of them.
Non-negotiable should be a theme of one of these episodes because we've said that so often, like, "What are my non-negotiables?"
You have to have your non-negotiables. It is what it is.
Yeah,
Gotta
you're
stick to
right.
it, you know?
You're absolutely right.
Okay, so let's dive a little deeper. So during this series, we're going to teach you guys how to use mindful eating to nourish your body, and to take command of your eating habits to reach your goals. So we're always, we're very goal oriented, and we want you guys to find different ways outside of just the actual direct few things that you can do that we all know, like there's always different ways to reach your goals. So this is one of a mindfulness, mindful eating, and so we're going to kind of dive right into that. But before we get into that, I'm Stephanie because I missed the whole intro. I'm Stephanie, a former athlete, retired athlete, co-owner with Breezy over here. Ooh, I'm not in the camera. um Yeah, we kind of got into this a while ago, and
Mhm.
we're excited to now have two divisions: sports performance and wellness nutrition. And we're now trying to just grow the brand and bring you guys more information in different ways, outside of just our one-on-ones and on social media. This, I guess, is still social media, but at least we're in front of the
Mm,
brands.
definitely. What up? What up?
So, and that's Breezy over there. She's the one behind the scenes doing all the nutrition. She's the one you guys meet with. Y'all probably see her more than me. But
Yeah.
we always work interchangeable. And Francine is somewhere. She's always doing helping out with nutrition as well. She is our other dietitian. She's great. She's amazing. You guys go hit her up. She's getting used to the reels, y'all. She just posted a
Yeah.
reel and it was good. Y'all should y'all should go see it. Y'all should go see it. We're
Yes.
all we're
She's
all
doing a great
trying.
job.
We're all
Just trying to
trying.
make it.
Right? Okay. So, what are some benefits you think athletes can reap from incorporating mindful eating techniques?
I would say this is a question for you because I know the answers. So I would say this is probably a question for you because I think a lot of people truly underestimate this, and I think this is why we definitely wanna talk about it today because there are so many benefits. So, what is name, like, 1 or 2 things that you think are some
I
benefits.
mean, um, as an athlete, I feel like one of the benefits of mindfully eating or using the techniques would be kind of separating yourself from the world, because as an
Mm,
athlete, everybody is like in your bubble. Like you don't get your
yep,
time. Um, and I think just detaching yourself from the world for like an hour is like, it means a lot. And you
mhm,
can kind of be clear headed in that moment of eating or taking a nap or whatever
yep,
it is. I think that's one of the benefits. And then just being present, because so many times your schedule just gets like ridiculous. If you're an
yeah,
athlete, like, high school, or not so much high school, it does get crazy in high school, but like college, you have class, you
mm,
have you have your friends trying to have a
Yeah.
social life, you have actually like team, like anything you have to do with the team, practice, games, travel, um, things get so busy. And
Mhm.
so, you know what I mean? Like, you just
Yeah.
need that time. And
Yeah.
so, trying to be present in those moments and taking in those moments for what they are because they pass up so fast. But
Yeah.
you need that time to try
Mhm.
to implement some of the techniques to be mindful of where you're at, what you're doing,
Yeah.
and so forth. You know.
I think those are great answers. Those are really good answers. And a lot of that, we definitely will touch on today. So great job, Steph. You guys will see
Thanks,
I'm always
girl.
quizzing. I've got all the quiz questions. So just know I'm going to drop them. I even
She
quiz
tries
my
to get me.
athletes. I quiz everybody. I'll be like, well, what do you think the answer? But those are really good. And yeah, I won't spill the beans on what we're going to talk about.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so let's go ahead and dive in today's topic and get a little bit more specific. So, the benefits of mindful eating techniques for athletes. So, we're going to be talking more about the techniques that you can use, just a few of them that you can use, and what are the benefits behind them, because there are benefits
Mhm.
um, that if just trying to implement these techniques can help you with your sport and how you are performing. So let's
Mhm.
get into it. Is there even room for mindfulness and mindful eating in sport? Because I mean, when you think about, I'm trying to think back to when we were playing, and I don't remember even having a conversation like this. I
No,
think
definitely
just
not.
like just automatically we're just like, I need a second.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
just how we were. But I
Exactly.
don't remember having this conversation with anybody, like, so is
Mhm.
there even room for it?
Yeah, I mean, there really is when you think about it. I mean, okay, with sports and sports nutrition, everything sometimes can seem so calculated, right? Like, you've got your meal plans, you've got your times that you need to eat, and it's like, da, 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 da. It's very, I don't know. It can be overwhelming at times, I guess, when you think about how structured it can be at times. Because, yeah, I mean, science tells us a lot about what we need to do to get to this particular goals. And athletes are very particular about that type of stuff. You give us it's like you give us the blueprint to success and we're going to take it and we're going to be on it, right? So but there definitely is room for mindfulness and specifically mindful eating in sport because you've got to eat. You've
Yeah.
got to you've got to eat, you've got to take care of your mental well-being, and I think we're seeing a lot of that with some of the most polarizing athletes, Simone
Mhm.
Biles, like we're seeing Kevin Love started it back when he was, kind of letting people know that he was getting help, in
Yeah.
regard to the mental space, and you're seeing more athletes do it. I mean, there's a football player for the Falcons, I think it was Calvin Ridley, who stepped away and was like, "I need
Yep,
some
yep.
time mentally." So you're seeing it a lot more, and I think if even if there isn't room, athletes will make room for it because I think we're all realizing that, all right, you mentally have to be in it. Sport
Yeah.
is so mental. It's really important. So yes, in a nutshell, yes.
Yeah, and I'm trying to think, didn't Ben Simmons say something like that? Like, he's just mentally not ready, he's not there,
Mhm.
and it's so crazy because people laugh, like, if you really go through, like, uh social media and read like the comments, and people are
Mhm.
like, "What do you have to think about? What do you like?"
Yeah.
No, mentally, he's not there. He can't do anything.
Mhm.
He can't play for
Exactly.
any team. Like, it doesn't matter
Yeah.
if he gets traded or whatever. He's not
Yeah.
present. He's not.
Mhm.
He's physically or he's mentally
Yeah.
not present. So what can you
Yeah.
do? So that's
There's a
yeah,
lot of
that's a
pressure.
great yeah. Tons of pressure. Tons of pressure. So, what are some of the benefits of incorporating mindful eating?
So when we think about specifically mindful eating, there's a lot of techniques, and I'll go over some of those, like after we talk about just like the overall benefits. But number one, we look at like physical benefits. So you can have potentially increased blood flow. And that's really important, especially when we're talking about our GI system, your stomach, your colon. all of that type of stuff. Because if you're restricting blood flow to that area, well, then you're decreasing, your gut's motility. And then you
Mhm.
have food sitting there causing cramping, causing diarrhea, vomiting, all these things that sometimes athletes will mention. And they're like, man, before every game, I feel like need to vomit, or I feel like I've got to sit on the toilet and I've got diarrhea and I've got all these different things. And it's like, okay, well, what do we think that's stemming from? That could be lack of oxygen to the gut. That could come from anxiety. It could come from, not really sitting down to focus on your meal, right? So you can see increased or improved GI symptoms, hopefully. And then also, you can see decreased anxiety just overall because you're really taking the time to take your mind off of that game that you have to play, or you're taking your mind off of this big opportunity that you have to really show up and show out, right? Because
Mhm.
opportunities come once in a lifetime sometimes for some athletes, and it's a matter of being prepared for the opportunity. And so if you actually take the time to sit down and enjoy your meal and really utilize mindful eating techniques, you're being present in the moment, and so you're allowing
Mhm.
your body to decrease anxiety so that you can really focus and that you can really relax overall. So we look at improved oxygen circulation, decreased anxiety, and then also something that's really major in sport performance right now, and just like nutrition, is the risk of like disordered eating habits. And
Mm.
you have binge eating, and you've got overly restrictive eating. Like, you've got all these different things that a lot of athletes are truly, truly dealing with. And it's being talked about more in the sports nutrition realm as practitioners. But incorporating mindful eating techniques can potentially impact that, and it can decrease your risk of doing those types of things, and letting you know, like, hey, it's okay if you eat more. If you notice your body needs it, eat more. So these are all benefits that athletes can potentially reap whenever they do incorporate mindful eating techniques. And the list goes long because it goes on, but as of right now, like, it's not really an area that has a ton of research, right? So we
Mhm.
need more time to look into mindful eating and performance, especially those two together. There's a lot on mindful eating, there's a lot on performance, but there's not a lot
Yeah.
on the two together. So as research evolves, I think we'll see even more benefits.
Yeah, definitely. Like decreasing that anxiety is big. And I know everybody, I think um everybody is still in the hunt for what can you do legally
Yep.
and what can
Yeah.
you do
Yeah.
that you know what I mean, naturally, for your body to lower that
Yep.
anxiety because who doesn't have anxiety in sports? Like who
Exactly.
some type of, there's nerves that's a part of it. If you're not it's
Yeah.
if you're not nervous, then are you kind of are you into it? Like, you know what I
Right.
mean?
Right.
Um
Exactly.
yeah, so that's always interesting, and it's always interesting to have those conversations about, okay, so what do you do to decrease your anxiety?
Hmm. Yeah.
And some of the
Hmm.
answers we don't want to hear, but it
Yeah.
is what it is. Like
It,
everybody has their own thing.
yeah.
Um, we brought up Marshawn Lynch before,
Yep.
and his
Hmm.
one shot, one or two shots of Hennessy before the game. Not
Hmm.
sure if that is the best route to go, but I mean, look at his career. I don't
I
know.
mean, seemed to work just fine, I
Seem
guess.
to be
You know what I
fine.
mean?
Seem to be fine.
It's
I don't
no job.
recommend it. I don't recommend it.
Either.
Okay, so let's hop into like the type of techniques
Mhm.
that athletes can incorporate to eat more mindfully.
Yeah. I think number one is deep breathing. Incorporating some deep breathing at the beginning of a meal or before starting a meal can help a lot, because that really can get the oxygen flowing.
Mhm.
And so if you're getting that gut, um, filled with blood, and you're getting that circulation in there, you're getting that oxygen in there, then it's more likely that your gut will function the way it needs to digest the food. Okay, so I think that's number one. There's a good amount of research behind deep breathing. and utilizing that. And so there's nothing wrong with incorporating that right before you eat a meal. Okay. Get that body going. It's almost like you're warming up your GI by doing that. And so that's a huge benefit and a technique that has helped a lot for a lot of people. So that's number one. Number two is literally sitting down, removing distractions. And I know we talked about this before in our last
So
one, but
hard.
I can't reiterate it enough. Seriously, sit down, turn the phone off, put
Ooh.
down the scouting report, right? So, like,
Oh, the
all those
scouting
things, because
report.
I've done that, right? Like, we've all done that. Don't You're watching film, you got your
Yep.
scouting report, you know what I mean? Like, all these things, and you're constantly thinking about that, and you're supposed to be in the moment, eating your food, enjoying it, being present, right? Chewing your food really well. That's something else that helps with digestion of the food, making sure you're chewing it well. But you can't do that if you're focused on your opponent or you're focused on, whatever you're doing. So it's like be present in the moment, chew your food, taste it, enjoy it, put your feet down on the ground. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like just all those little
Yeah.
things that come with being present are really things
Mhm.
that we take for granted because we're like, all right, I don't have that much time. So let me utilize this time to multitask. Don't do that.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Put the phones
Yeah.
down, turn the TVs off, put the scouting reports down, turn off the film, and sit down and really focus on your meal. So, number one is deep breathing. Number two is being present during mealtime. That's really, really important.
Mhm.
And then number three, I would say it's giving yourself grace, listening to your body. Don't feel like you need to be on this diet because you're trying to be this like Hercules looking athlete. Like it's
Yeah.
just not, that's not necessary. Physique doesn't
Yeah.
always equal performance, right? So you really need to take the time and listen to your body. If you need, yes, we're gonna have meal plans, right? Because there's
Right.
you have someone in your corner that's gonna tell you, hey, this many calories, da 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 da. Like you might have that, but at the end of the day, like your body is really gonna be the one to tell you if you need more or less. Like you
Yeah.
really need to listen to that. So it goes beyond the science. It goes beyond the meal plan. It goes beyond the macros. It goes beyond that. And you really can't even just, you can't like bank on that. You really need to listen to your body and give it an opportunity to tell you what it needs. Because if you're constantly silencing your hunger cues, do you think that you already need to eat a lot as an athlete, but if you're
Mhm.
silencing your hunger cues, now you're really, really not eating a lot. And then you're running the risk
Yeah.
of disordered eating patterns, red S, relative energy deficiency syndrome, like all these different things that are very possible for you to deal with as an athlete. So for me, those are my top things: deep breathing, being present during mealtime, and really, really enjoying your meal. And lastly, is just honoring those hunger cues and listening to your body.
Yeah. Those are big. Those are big. And I mean, I always go back to thinking about like it's our time playing and it's just like we dealt with literally every single one of them. And it's like,
Hmm.
dang, like I just
Yep.
remember like having pregame meals and never really being us, like, the only time I guess we were ever really present in that time is after the quiz of the scouting
Yeah.
report, because the
Exactly.
anxiety of the scouting report, "Do
Yeah.
I know my players? Did I go over this enough?" Like,
Yes.
and then it's like, "Okay, that's over. Didn't know it or
Yeah.
I knew it, and then,
Yeah.
now we're headed into the game." But
Hmm.
there's so many
Yeah.
stressors that go into it, and you just kind of blow by the time that you're there.
Yeah. And we
Um,
talked about stress too, and like how stress can and anxiety or emotions can
yeah.
make you overeat, undereat. You know what I mean? It can,
Mhm,
all those
mhm.
things. Like there is really so much of that in sport, and people really underestimate that, I think.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. Okay, so let's go through some takeaways. So some of the top things to remember, because obviously we talk about a lot of things in our lives, and we definitely have a lot of things in our blogs and social posts. But what are some of the top things you think people should remember?
Yeah, I would say number one, mindful eating and performance, they can coexist. They're not mutually exclusive when you think about it. It's really all about finding the right fit for you because what fits for you might not fit for somebody else. You know, what you need to do that your teammate might not need to do that, or your running mate, or whoever, is your
Mhm.
training partner or whatever. Like, so you really have to find what that fit is for you, but they can coexist with one another. They actually work really well. Number 2, the benefits that come from mindful eating may or may not have a direct or indirect, impact on
Mhm.
you, okay? So, the benefits may have a direct or indirect impact on performance, and so when I say direct or indirect, it could be a matter of, you're feeling better, and so now you're feeling better, you can perform, or you have less stress, and so now that you have less
Mhm.
stress, you feel like you can go out there and conquer the world. Um, so there's a lot of things that can, come from mindful eating, but I think the benefits are there and they may have direct or indirect impact on your performance. And number 3, finding the technique that works for you, I think, or
Yeah.
techniques that work for you, because it could be more than one, you just need to be consistent with it because you have to give it time. You can't just be hopping around, from thing to thing. You need to figure out like what works, but you can only do that if you give it the opportunity to really like work for you. So give it some
Mhm.
time, incorporate it consistently for a while, and then see if that is going to be, your go-to thing.
Yeah, those are great takeaways, and I think like we said at the beginning, like we could literally talk about this topic. I mean, we could go back in the day, back in the day. We're getting old. Um, and talk about how like we unconsciously like implemented some of these techniques and then a lot of the times we didn't and kind of how
Hmm.
those affected us. um, that might have to be another topic for another day.
Hmm.
Just the effects of not mindfully eating, or you know what I mean, like because some of the
Yeah,
things, I mean, we just didn't know. When you don't know, you don't know.
don't know.
But yeah, man. All right. Well, our time is almost up, you know? Like
Yeah, we got
we
to hop
always
on
want to stay on
Instagram.
here. Yeah, we're going to be on Instagram. We are definitely going to be on Instagram. But as we say before, thank you if you've been on our lives before. You hear this all the time. If you haven't signed up for our newsletter, text Power News to the number 22828 and join our newsletter. We literally send out everything via our newsletters. Our subscribers get everything before the general public. So we like to do everything with our subscribers first. So definitely make sure you guys do that. And we're going to hop off and get on Instagram and redo this. So if you missed it, holla at us on IG. Bye.
Bye.